10 Stoic lessons that will make you important again. Never lower yourself. Stoicism motivation. Many people feel overlooked, ignored, or undervalued. You may work hard yet feel invisible. You may stay quiet to avoid conflict. You may shrink yourself to fit into rooms where you should stand tall. Over time, this creates quiet resentment and deep insecurity. You begin to question your worth. Stoicism offers a direct correction. It does not teach you to chase attention. It teaches you to build substance. Importance does not come from status, noise, or approval. It comes from character, discipline, and consistent action. When you strengthen these, people notice. More importantly, you notice yourself. The Stoics did not beg for validation. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire yet focused on self-control and integrity. Epictetus was born a slave yet commanded respect through wisdom and discipline. Their importance came from who they were, not what others thought. In this video, you will learn 10 Stoic lessons that restore self-respect and presence. Apply them consistently and you will stop lowering yourself for approval. Stay until the end, and subscribe to this channel for practical Stoic motivation that strengthens your mind and sharpens your character. 1. Stop seeking validation. When you seek approval, you give away power. You adjust your opinions to fit the room. You hesitate to speak truth. You measure yourself by reactions instead of principles. This weakens your presence. Stoicism teaches that your value comes from virtue. Act with integrity even if others disagree. Speak clearly even if your voice shakes. When you stop chasing validation, you project stability. Stability earns respect. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve, you must be willing to appear foolish in the eyes of others. That principle challenges insecurity directly. The need to be liked keeps you small. The willingness to stand alone builds strength. When you detach from approval, you stop filtering your personality to avoid discomfort. Seeking validation creates emotional dependence. A compliment lifts you. Criticism crushes you. Your mood swings with public opinion. This instability shows. People sense when you are trying too hard to be accepted. But when your confidence comes from inner standards, your behavior becomes steady. You no longer perform for applause. Letting go of validation also sharpens decision making. You choose what is right, not what is popular. You invest time in growth instead of image management. Over time, this builds competence. Competence builds confidence. Confidence removes the need for constant reassurance. When you stop asking silently, "Do they approve of me?" and start asking, "Did I act with integrity?" your mindset shifts. You hold yourself accountable to principle, not praise. That shift strengthens self-respect. And self-respect commands more influence than approval ever will. 2. Master your emotions. Emotional instability lowers your influence. Anger, jealousy, and insecurity distort judgment. People trust calm minds. Train yourself to pause before reacting. Separate events from your interpretation. When you control your reactions, you show strength. Others begin to see you as reliable and grounded. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external events are neutral. Your judgment gives them meaning. When someone criticizes you, the words are facts. The insult exists only if you accept it. This shift in thinking gives you power. You stop reacting automatically and start choosing your response. Emotional control begins with awareness. Notice physical signals. A tight chest, a raised voice, rapid thoughts. These are cues to pause. Do not suppress emotion. Observe it, name it, then decide whether acting on it serves your long-term interest. Calm reactions build authority. In conflict, the person who remains steady often leads. Others look to the most composed individual in stressful moments. If you panic, complain, or lash out, you weaken your presence. If you remain measured and clear, you strengthen it. Mastery also protects your reputation. One uncontrolled outburst can undo years of disciplined effort. Emotional control prevents regret. It preserves trust. It reinforces your identity as someone who operates from reason, not impulse. Over time, emotional discipline becomes a habit. You respond instead of react. You think before speaking. You evaluate before deciding. This consistency builds inner stability, and inner stability is the foundation of influence, confidence, and lasting importance. 3. Raise your standards. You cannot command respect if you tolerate mediocrity in your habits. Your discipline shapes your identity. Wake early. Improve your skills. Keep promises. When you hold yourself to higher standards, your confidence rises naturally. Importance follows competence and consistency. Marcus Aurelius wrote about resisting the comfort of staying in bed when duty called. He reminded himself that he was made to work and contribute. That mindset separates average behavior from disciplined action. When you act according to purpose instead of comfort, you strengthen your character. Standards begin with private habits. How you manage your time when no one is watching determines how you perform when everyone is watching. If you tolerate excuses in private, you will hesitate in public. If you demand effort from yourself daily, you will project confidence naturally. Raising standards also means refining your skills. Competence commands attention. When you speak with knowledge and execute with precision, people notice. This is not about ego. It is about preparation. The more capable you become, the less you need to announce your worth. Your results speak. Keeping promises is another high standard. When you say you will do something, follow through. Reliability builds trust. Trust builds influence. Many people lower themselves by overpromising and underdelivering. Discipline requires fewer words and stronger execution. Higher standards also shape how you allow others to treat you. If you constantly accept disrespect, delays, or manipulation, you reinforce low expectations. Calmly assert boundaries. Uphold them consistently. Standards teach others how to interact with you. Over time, elevated standards reshape your identity. You begin to see yourself as disciplined, capable, and dependable. That self-image fuels stronger action. Stronger action reinforces confidence. When you raise your standards consistently, you do not need to demand respect. Your habits earn it for. Speak with purpose. Do not fill silence with unnecessary words. Stoics valued thoughtful speech. When you speak, say something meaningful. Avoid gossip and complaint. Clear, direct communication signals self-control. People listen more when you speak less but speak with intention. Epictetus advised speaking only when necessary and keeping words aligned with reason. Idle talk weakens presence. Constant commentary signals insecurity. Purposeful speech reflects clarity of thought and control of emotion. Silence is not weakness. It is discipline. Many people talk to gain attention or approval. When you become comfortable with silence, you show confidence. You do not rush to prove your relevance. You wait. You observe. Then you contribute value. Purposeful speech also protects your reputation. Gossip damages trust. Complaints signal helplessness. Repeating rumors reduces credibility. When you refuse to engage in these habits, others begin to associate you with maturity and discretion. Clarity strengthens authority. Speak directly. Avoid exaggeration. State facts. Express opinions calmly. People trust communicators who are precise and measured. Confusion creates doubt. Simplicity builds influence. Before speaking, ask yourself 3 questions. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it constructive? This filter reduces impulsive comments and emotional reactions. It forces you to slow down and think before you speak. Purposeful speech also means aligning tone with intention. Calm delivery carries more weight than loud intensity. Controlled expression shows mastery. Others feel safer and more willing to listen when your tone reflects steadiness. Over time, this habit transforms how people perceive you. Your words carry weight because they are rare and considered. You become known as someone who adds value rather than noise. That reputation increases respect. When you discipline your speech, you discipline your mind. Thoughtful communication strengthens identity, builds credibility, and reinforces self-respect. Speak less. Mean more. Let your words reflect the standards you live by. 5. Accept responsibility. Blaming others reduces your credibility. Ownership builds authority. When you make a mistake, admit it. When you fail, learn from it. Responsibility strengthens your character and increases trust. Trust makes you important in any environment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to look inward first when problems arose. Instead of asking who caused the issue, he asked how he could respond better. That mindset builds strength. It shifts focus from excuses to improvement. Blame feels comfortable in the moment. It protects your ego, but it weakens your influence. People lose respect for those who always shift fault. Ownership, even in difficult situations, signals maturity. It shows that you value growth over image. Responsibility also sharpens problem solving. When you accept your role in outcomes, you gain control over future results. You identify gaps in preparation, communication, or execution, then you correct them. This proactive mindset increases competence. Admitting mistakes builds credibility. Many assume that authority requires perfection. It does not. Authority requires honesty. When you acknowledge errors openly and fix them quickly, others trust you more, not less. Transparency reinforces leadership. Taking responsibility strengthens discipline. You stop waiting for ideal conditions. You stop depending on others to rescue you. You act. You adjust. You improve. This consistent pattern builds internal confidence and external reliability. Over time, ownership shapes your identity. You become known as someone who does not complain, does not deflect, and does not retreat. You handle challenges directly. That reputation increases your importance in any group. Responsibility does not weaken you. It positions you as dependable, strong, and worthy of respect. 6. Focus on what you control. You cannot control opinions, trends, or outcomes. You can control effort and behavior. Redirect energy to your actions. This reduces anxiety and builds confidence. Confidence rooted in effort is stable. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on this principle. He taught that some things depend on you and others do not. Your thoughts, choices, and actions are yours. Reputation, praise, and results are not fully yours. Confusion between these creates insecurity. Clarity removes it. When you obsess over opinions, you weaken your focus. You replay conversations. You analyze expressions. You predict judgment. None of this improves your performance. It only drains mental energy. Redirect that energy toward preparation, skill building, and disciplined action. Effort is measurable. You know if you practiced. You know if you prepared. You know if you followed through. This internal scoreboard builds self-trust. You stop asking whether others approve and start asking whether you executed with discipline. Focusing on control also improves emotional stability. If a project fails, you review your preparation instead of blaming circumstances. If someone criticizes you, you evaluate whether the feedback is useful instead of reacting defensively. This mindset protects your peace. This principle strengthens decision-making. You take calculated risks because you understand that outcomes are uncertain, but effort is not. You accept that results may vary, yet you remain steady because you know you did your part. Control over behavior creates long-term growth. Daily habits compound. Consistent effort produces skill. Skill produces competence. Competence builds natural confidence. That confidence does not collapse when conditions change. When you anchor your identity to what you control, insecurity weakens. You stop chasing trends and approval. You focus on mastery and integrity. This focus sharpens your presence and reinforces your importance in any setting. 7. Detach from status games. Many people compete for attention. They seek titles, praise, and surface recognition. Detach from this. Focus on competence and service. Real importance comes from contribution, not noise. Seneca warned that chasing public approval weakens character. When you measure your worth by rank or applause, you hand control of your identity to others. That dependence creates insecurity and constant comparison. Status games reward appearance over substance. People exaggerate achievements, display curated success, and compete for visibility. This environment pressures you to perform instead of improve. If you enter that cycle, you spend more time protecting image than building skill. Detachment begins with redefining success. Ask yourself whether your actions create value or simply attract attention. Competence lasts. Recognition fades. When you prioritize mastery, your confidence grows from real ability, not temporary praise. Service strengthens influence. When you focus on solving problems and supporting others, your presence becomes meaningful. People trust those who contribute consistently. Trust builds respect without loud self-promotion. Avoid comparison traps. Someone will always have more status, money, or followers. If you chase position alone, you will never feel secure. Instead, track personal growth. Measure discipline, knowledge, and reliability. These metrics are within your reach. Detaching from status also reduces anxiety. You stop scanning rooms for hierarchy. You stop interpreting every interaction as competition. You become calm because your worth does not depend on ranking. Calm confidence stands out. Over time, this mindset reshapes how others see you. While others fight for recognition, you build substance quietly. Substance creates authority. Authority creates influence. When you detach from status games, you rise above them. Real importance follows steady contribution, not noise. 8. Build inner strength through discomfort. Comfort weakens resilience. Practice voluntary hardship. Take on difficult tasks. Challenge yourself physically and mentally. When you endure discomfort, you build quiet strength that others respect. Seneca advised practicing poverty at times to reduce fear of loss. He believed that exposing yourself to controlled hardship trains the mind to remain steady during real adversity. When you choose discomfort, you reduce its power over you. Discomfort reveals weaknesses. A hard workout exposes physical limits. A difficult conversation exposes emotional hesitation. A complex project exposes gaps in skill. Instead of avoiding these signals, use them as training. Growth requires friction. Voluntary hardship builds discipline. Waking early when you prefer sleep strengthens willpower. Completing tasks when motivation fades strengthens consistency. Each small act of discipline compounds into stronger character. Discomfort also reduces fear. When you repeatedly face challenging situations, your tolerance increases. What once intimidated you becomes manageable. This creates calm confidence because you trust your ability to endure pressure. Mental discomfort is equally important. Read challenging material. Engage in debates respectfully. Accept constructive criticism. Stretch your thinking beyond comfort zones. Intellectual growth increases clarity and authority. Physical discomfort reinforces mental strength. Training your body to handle strain improves focus and resilience. Physical discipline often transfers into sharper work ethic and emotional control. Over time, voluntary discomfort reshapes identity. You stop identifying as someone who avoids difficulty. You become someone who confronts it. That shift strengthens self-respect. When you build strength through discomfort, you carry yourself differently. You speak with steadiness. You act with confidence. Others sense resilience without you announcing it. Quiet endurance builds lasting importance. 9. Protect your time. Your time reflects your priorities. Stop saying yes to everything. Decline what does not align with your values. When you protect your time, you show that you value yourself. Others respond accordingly. Seneca wrote in On the Shortness of Life that people guard their money but waste their time. Time is your most limited resource. Once spent, you cannot recover it. When you treat time casually, you weaken your focus and direction. Saying yes to everything signals insecurity. You fear missing out. You fear disappointing others. You fear losing approval. This pattern spreads your energy thin and reduces the quality of your work. Protecting your time requires courage. Set clear priorities. Identify what supports your growth, values, and long-term goals. Allocate time intentionally. When invitations or requests arise, evaluate them against these standards. If they do not align, decline calmly and respectfully. Time protection strengthens discipline. Focused work without constant interruption improves results. Deep concentration builds competence faster than scattered effort. Competence increases confidence. Boundaries also command respect. When you decline distractions, people learn that your schedule has structure and purpose. This signals seriousness. You become known as someone who values productivity over impulse. Protecting time reduces stress. Overcommitment creates pressure and rushed decisions. Clear limits create breathing space. You think better, plan better, and execute better when your schedule reflects intention. Over time, disciplined time management shapes identity. You become organized, focused, and dependable. This reliability increases your importance in any environment. When you treat your time as valuable, others begin to treat it the same way. 10. Align actions with principles. If your actions contradict your values, you weaken self-respect. Define your principles clearly. Act in alignment daily. Consistency builds identity. Identity builds presence. Presence builds importance. Epictetus taught that a good life depends on living according to reason and virtue. Principles are your internal compass. Without them, you drift with circumstances and others' expectations. Drift erodes confidence and influence. Begin by identifying your core values: integrity, honesty, discipline, courage, and service are common Stoic pillars. Write them down. Reflect on them regularly. Principles become meaningful only when consciously acknowledged and applied. Daily alignment requires vigilance. Small choices matter. Do you respond with honesty even when deception seems easier? Do you honor commitments even when inconvenient? Each choice reinforces or undermines your identity. Consistency builds trust. People notice when your words match your actions. Reliability is more persuasive than charisma. Over time, consistent principle-based behavior makes you dependable. Dependability earns respect naturally. Alignment also protects self-respect. In moments of temptation, stress, or pressure, principles provide guidance. When you act according to them, you maintain dignity and calm. When you ignore them, guilt and regret follow. Self-respect is fragile, and principle-based action preserves it. Principles guide decision-making. Instead of reacting impulsively to external pressures or emotions, you ask, does this action honor my values? This filter simplifies choices and strengthens clarity, reducing anxiety and indecision. Identity emerges from repeated alignment. Who you are is not what you say, but what you do consistently. When actions mirror principles, your presence becomes magnetic. People respect substance over spectacle. Importance grows naturally. Ultimately, living in accordance with your principles anchors you in reality and virtue. You gain quiet authority, inner confidence, and influence that cannot be shaken by trends, gossip, or transient opinions. Principle-driven action makes you important, steady, and unshakable. If this message challenges you to raise your standards and reclaim your self-respect, subscribe to this channel now. You will find disciplined Stoic lessons here, not shallow motivation. Commit to these practices daily. Reflect, adjust, improve. Importance is not granted. It is built through character, discipline, and unwavering integrity. Applying these lessons transforms your life quietly but profoundly. You begin to act with purpose, speak with authority, and move through the world with steadiness. People notice consistency more than words. Your reputation grows naturally when your habits reflect your principles. True self-respect is earned through repeated choices, not temporary achievements. Each decision to act with integrity, to endure discomfort, and to prioritize growth strengthens your identity. Over time, this becomes your default behavior, and others recognize it without you having to announce it. Discipline and character create freedom. When you are anchored in your principles, external opinions lose their power over you. You operate from strength, not fear. This calm authority attracts respect, influence, and opportunities. The more you practice, the more your presence commands attention without effort.